So I just broke up with my narcissistic ex and now they're blowing up my phone. What the F is going on? If you've stepped away from a narcissistic relationship or a narcissistic situationship, there's some distinct phases that you're going to go through. And one, you've already made the toughest choice that you can make, and that is to step away. And I am so proud of you for it. Now, here's what's going to happen afterwards. Stay through to the end because I'm going to explain all the phases of what you're about to experience next. My name is Chelsea, and I am an intuitive hypnotherapist, and I help people just like you heal from narcissistic relationships, toxic relationship patterns, and I've healed through my own. So I have a bit of experience with this whole breakup process, and this is a tough one. Now, in some cases, a narcissist will break up with you, and you'll be left feeling utterly worthless, utterly trashed, utterly tossed aside, and they may not come back. That's another video for another time, but who I'm talking to right now is the people who have been in prolonged situationships with their narcissistic ex. So this may look like the on again, off again relationship that you just finally cut the cord on. This may look like the, hey, we're broken up, but they're still texting you every other day and you guys still have a flirtation, even though they've made it clear that they're not going to be the person you need. And they just keep you dangling on that little hook. Whatever's going on, this is for you. And it's usually with the vulnerable narcissist that this really happens with. So these are the phases you're going to go through once you make that true decision to cut it off for good. And however long it takes you to get there, there's no shame to it. It's a tough situation. And there's a lot of mental manipulation and there's a lot of just mind screwery, fuckery. I don't care. I'm going to say it. There's a lot of mind fuckery that goes into these kinds of relationships. So if you find that it's been hard to break away, if you've just decided to cut things off after months or years, it's not your fault. The point is you're here now, you're done now, and that's what's awesome. So first thing that's going to happen is you're going to start feeling better. That's the good news, is once you actually really decide that you're done, once you really cut that energetic cord, you're going to start feeling better the longer that they're not in your presence. And once you start feeling better, you're going to notice that you don't even really want that kind of siphoning energy back. Now, this might take a little time to integrate, but really within the first 2 weeks of really truly making that decision. And when I say making that decision, I mean making it for you. Not the, okay, I have to cut it off because I know this is bad for me, but I still really want them. If you're in that state, it's not going to feel as good. But if you are really like, okay, you know what, I'm done. Being single forever is better than this. Being a crazy cat lady is better than this. That's when you really start feeling better immediately. So if you can get to that point, or if you're at that point, awesome, because it's actually going to start feeling better in maybe a couple of days as soon as that. Next, this narcissist is going to start feeling you pulling away in a different way. I don't know what it is, but we are all energetically connected, right? And narcissists, even though they have cut themselves off from the ability to be empathetic, they sense it. They sense that you're pulling away in a different way. Even if you've tried to pull away before, they're going to sense that something's different. So, phase one of their end is they're going to start blowing up your phone. They're going to start love bombing you first. That's the first attempt. And they're going to start blowing up your phone and saying all the things that you thought you wanted to hear from them. But again, if you've come to a place where you are thoroughly done, it's going to feel different. It's going to feel, you're going to see it coming. You're going to see oh, okay, no, you're trying to reel me back in. You're trying to hoover me back up. And nope, I'm not buying into it this time. So they're going to start love bombing you. They might start sending you the hey babes, the how are yous, the just thinking about yous. They might start sending you pics. They might do everything that they can to make themselves as appealing as they can to you and just trying to get you back on the hook. Next phase. If the love bombing doesn't work, if the old nice tricks don't work, they're going to get nasty. They might start accusing you of seeing someone else, which, hey, if you're single, You're allowed to, but that's not the point. They'll start yelling at you as though you've betrayed them. They'll start howling at you and they'll start doing everything they can. They'll show you pictures of them and their new partner or them and their partner if they've been cheating on them with you. They will start showing you every ugly side, just trying to piss you off and get a reaction out of you. This is them trying to get a rise out of you. Now, what's very important to remember in this phase is it's just a storm. All they're doing is screaming outside of your house. If you like to think of it this way, this is like the zombie apocalypse where there's always that one person that like fell behind in the group that nobody really liked. And then they start hammering at the door, let me in. And they're pulling every manipulative trick on you. Let me in. Don't you know I'm going to die out here? Don't you know that you've left me out here? What are you, crazy? What are you, like, you're a horrible person, blah, blah, blah. Keep that door closed. Because we all know what happens in zombie movies. You let the person in, and then 2 days later, you find out they've been bitten, and now they're, trying to eat your brains out. Don't let them in. All this is just a very loud storm. It's a very, very loud narcissistic tantrum. That's what it is. And you're going to start seeing it. And it happens fairly quickly. These two phases happen very quickly once they realize that you have really pulled away from them. So they'll start doing that. And if you can hold tight through that, if you can keep your peace through that, what you're going to notice is you're going to see them in a different way. It's going to be real embarrassing for them because you're going to see them almost like in this childlike way of just throwing this tantrum like, oh my God, this is just not attractive behavior because now you're seeing them clearly now that you've gained some distance from the situation. So they're going to appear very differently. And whereas this might have worked in the past, this might have gotten a rise out of you in the past, it's just not going to feel the same, which is good. It means that you're further detaching. Phase 3. This may or may not happen, but if you do have to see them in person again, and you've been doing this mostly over distance because you've cut them off and kind of gone to like, no contact, they're going to be trying to do some interesting things. They might be blowing up your phone as you're about to see them. Hey, let's hang out. Hey, okay, look, I just need to see you. Okay, look, blah, blah, blah. They might even, again, go back to kind of the love bombing thing because that cycle has worked in the past. Love bomb, treat like shit, love bomb again. So that's kind of the pattern they've gotten used to. So they might start trying to love bomb you again. They might be blowing up your phone. They might be asking, what are you doing? And it might kind of go on like that. And they might just be texting you every day, hey, just thinking about you. Now, if you have to see them in person, you might notice something interesting. If they're in public with people they know, they might actually play it cool. They might try to act as though they haven't just been blowing you up for the past however long because they're with, people that they know. They're with people that they want to put on front for. So they might actually play it cool, which again is kind of another irritation tactic designed to get a rise out of you, designed to get you to come to them. If that doesn't work, they might get... The word aggressive might be wrong or it might be accurate depending on your situation, but they will definitely be trying in the background to get back into your world. Now, it's at this point, we're going to take a quick pause and just try to understand why the fuck this is, because it's irritating. Just as you finally get space and just, they might have even been telling you that you're not enough. They might be telling you that they could survive without you, that you're the one that needs them. Here's the secret. That narcissistic person was living off of you. They were getting their attention supply from you. They were getting their emotional supply from you. They were getting their egoic supply from you. And now that you have basically pulled the IV out of your arm, and I have a client who gave me that image, and it's the best image I've heard to this day. Once you pull the IV out of your arm, and they stop living off of you, they're going to freak out. Because maybe they didn't appreciate you when you were there, but they sure as heck are going to notice when your energy is missing from their life. So this is the reason. And again, when you have really truly decided that you're done, and that you're energetically done, you are romantically done, you're just done. You're just done. It doesn't even have to be an angry thing. You're just done with this dynamic. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel the absence of your attention, and they're going to try to get it back. So again, just treat this whole phase, just treat this whole post ending phase as just a very loud storm going on around you while you're nice and safe in your house because you're keeping your peace because let's face it, you're done. So moving on. If all of that doesn't bring you back, then what they're going to do is one of two things. And again, this is in no particular order. This is kind of a general order of things, but some orders may switch up. They might try a different approach. They might try something really subtle. They might give you a little space for a minute, or they might just keep talking to you. They'll ask you maybe for a favor or for a connection, or they'll hit up one of your friends. They'll say hey, you know what? So my ex asked if he could talk to my dad about some camera equipment, something that wasn't even in my dad's realm, but he asked if he could talk to my dad. And I was like, no, rather you not. Sometimes they'll ask you for a favor. They'll ask you for your opinion. Again, all of these things are just little bids to get you back on the hook, little bids to get your attention. And there's actually a psychological fact that people are actually more likely to like you, not if you do them a favor, but there's actually a little psychological tidbit that states that a stronger way to get people to like you is not to do them a favor, but to ask you for a favor. So if you do them a favor, if you help them out, if you give them your opinion, you're a little bit more likely to let them back into your good graces. It's a really interesting concept. But they'll ask you for something kind of small or try to play to your ego that way. And if you say no, the next phase, we're at phase 6 now, I think, 5 or 6. The next phase, after the favor asking, is they're going to pull back. They're going to pull all the way back and say, okay, fine, that's it. You'll never hear from me again. Okay, fine, I just won't bug you. Fine, I just won't talk to you again. Okay, fine. And they'll do it in such a way that is very childish. And this is how you know that you're seeing things differently, because you're going to see right through it. And this might irritate you. This might piss you right off, and that's okay. Because now your feelings are coming from a clear emotional space, so it's okay to start trusting them at this point. It's okay to be irritated at this, because what's going on is they're saying they're giving you distance, but they're really not. They're doing that old game that used to piss everybody off called the silent treatment. And do you ever remember getting that done to you? Maybe as a kid or maybe even now. Nothing reduces us to 6-year-old mode worse than the silent treatment. So that's what they're doing. So and it's a manipulative tactic. It's objectively irritating. But by now, you've gotten so much distance from them, and they have embarrassed themselves so many times. They have acted in such a way that is no longer attractive to you, that you're going to see this, and it's going to be irritating rather than heartstring pulling. Maybe when you were more involved with them and they used to pull the silent treatment, fine, I'll just go away. Fine, you just won't hear from me again. That might have evoked a, look, let's just talk about this kind of reaction. And this time it's not going to. So that is in a pretty condensed amount of time, maybe a couple weeks, couple months, something around there. And that might be where it ends. If you let them go and you just continue to go no contact, they might well leave you alone. And that'll be wonderful, because now you actually get to focus on your own healing. You get to focus on everything, and you get to focus on building your new life. A final couple of phases that you might see, and it's really just kind of one phase, but it's just the occasional reach out. Maybe a year or two down the line, they'll just hey, how you been? Hey, just thinking about you. Hey, just thinking about the good times we had. And by now you're going to have so much distance and so much clarity on the situation that you didn't have back when you were with them, that it's not going to affect you. You might feel that irritation, and that's honestly just your soul saying, ugh, we don't want any part of this. Do not engage. So now what might be going on for you during these phases? You might be feeling any range of things. Like I said, when you're in the storm phase, it might tug at your heartstrings a little bit, and that's okay. You might feel like an absolute jerk for not opening the door and saying like, okay, I don't want you to actually hurt, but just, I want some space. No, 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 no. Their pain is something that's within them. And my guess is you've already tried. My guess is you've already tried so many times to alleviate that pain. That pain is something that's within them. And it's a very sad, very heartbreaking thing. You are not responsible for that pain. That pain did not start with you. So it is not your responsibility to solve it. What you have done, if you really want me to clarify this, what you have done maybe is reflect to them that feeling of worthlessness that they already had deep within. And that's the pain that's happening, but you did not cause that pain. So again, not your responsibility to solve it, no matter how much they try to put that responsibility on you. You might also feel anger. Anger's fine. Anger means that something needs to change. And that anger is something that might have even sparked you to move away and be done with the situation in the first place. So anger's not a bad thing. You might feel, like I said, irritation. You might feel irritation when you're around them. And again, that's like sandpaper on the soul. It's just your heart and your unconscious mind and everything, every fiber of your being telling you, this is not a match for us. This is not what we want to be around. This is not the energy we want. So if you're feeling irritation around them, that's totally cool. You don't have to feel completely numb to a narcissist early on. In fact, it's going to be really hard to feel completely numb. It takes a while to be able to see them in public and just go like, yeah, cool. Hope you're happy. See ya. It might take a while for that. You might also feel during certain phases, especially in those little love bombing attempts, you might feel the old heartstrings pull a little bit. You might remember those old body conditionings that you had with them. You might remember the good times, and that's okay, because what that is it's just a physical conditioning that they've put you through. It would be the same in a healthy relationship. If you saw an ex from a healthy relationship, your heart still might jump a little bit because you've had a physical closeness with them. Your body gets used to it, and it will just send chemicals with that association. It's like Pavlov's dogs. Your body's just reacting, but you don't have to. This doesn't mean that, oh my gosh, you have feelings for them again. It's just a body sensation. And you'll notice it passes pretty quickly. If you feel any kind of like old, like any heart twitches, I don't know how else to describe it, but just that little like, does this mean that I made a mistake? Does this mean that I should reach out? Does this mean that no. It's just your body readjusting those neurochemicals. It's just the signal that got associated with that person. So if they show up in your phone, if they show up in your text, if they show up in your DMs, and your body reacts or your emotions react, don't trip, potato chip. That's literally just an old conditioning that you are breaking free from. And the more distance you get, the more free you'll be. So that's all I got for you. If you have had a similar experience, please comment. Please let me know. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And as always, happy healing.